Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? It's not that you necessarily need anything else to be upset, enraged, frustrated about regarding the New Orleans Saints. But I'm going to do it anyway because I think Michael Thomas over the weekend kind of gave you a glimpse into the culture right now in New Orleans. So Nick Underhill tweeted, there was a play in the game on Thursday, if you didn't see it or if you're not familiar. It was in the fourth quarter, and there's about 11 minutes to go, and the Saints are down 24-16. And it's 3rd and 5, and they throw a deep ball down the right sideline, and Chris Olave quits on the route. Derek Carr is just chastising Chris Olave. You can see him yelling at him, like, keep going. Derek Carr got pretty animated, yelling at Olave on this one. So, after the game, here's what Dennis Allen had to say about that play itself.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's one of those where, Chris has really kind of got what's kind of referred to as a bus ticket release, which means he's got a must outside release, take off and try to clear the defense out. Derek thought there was a good chance to get a one-on-one shot with him on the outside lanes, which, in our league, if you get a chance to, get a good player in a one-on-one matchup, that's what a lot of this league is about. And Chris didn't, he didn't run that route the way that it needs to be run. So that's what happened. So we end up having a throwaway there.
Okay, so Olave gave up on his route. Carr threw it away. Carr was pissed. Nick Underhill from New Orleans.football, who does a great job, of course, tweeted, Olave said after the game he'd take the blame on that play, and no question he should be running that all out, but that pass was never supposed to go to him, and he's not even in the progression. Okay, so that's what Nick Underhill tweeted. Michael Thomas replies to Underhill's tweet, and this is where the problem comes in. Michael Thomas goes on Twitter and replies, exactly. His job is only to collision outside shoulder of defender. He is never the throw, not even an alert. Only advice I would give him is to take the ball and know Taysom runs fast, so he has to run even faster to clear it out. But the progression is 7, 22, 13. Eyes only went to 7, meaning Taysom Hill. So Nick Underhill tweets, yeah, Olave said he should have run all out in that play, but he wasn't even in the progression. Ball was never intended to go to him at all. Michael Thomas goes and co-signs Nick Underhill's tweet and says, yeah, Carr screwed up because he never even left Taysom Hill. He didn't even go to the other receivers in the progression, which would have been Hill, Shaheed, Michael Thomas. Ball should never even considered going to Olave on that play. Whatever, I don't care. I don't care who the ball should have gone to, why it didn't go to that person, if Olave should have run out. I don't care. Long game, lots of plays, lots of things happen. You make decisions in that moment, whatever. You didn't win or lose the game because of that play. What that does illustrate, though, is the lack of respect organizationally that players have for Dennis Allen. Because when Michael Thomas is willing to go on Twitter and reply to a reporter's tweet to co-sign calling out Olave and Derek Carr, that's a problem. Because you're airing your dirty laundry in public. Think about the most stable organizations in the NFL. Can we all agree the Pittsburgh Steelers are the most stable organization in the NFL? Can we all agree to that? They've had 3 head coaches in 50 years, from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to Mike Tomlin. There is no more bastion of stability in the NFL than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you ever hear Steelers players going rogue, calling out other players or coaches? There's 2 times I can remember players really bringing negative attention to that organization. Antonio Brown, who at the time was the best receiver in the NFL. What did the Steelers do? They cut him. See ya. Good luck in Oakland. And Le'Veon Bell. They franchise tagged Le'Veon Bell for the 2nd consecutive year in 2018. Bell wouldn't sign his franchise tender. He sat out the 2018 season, and then the Steelers didn't even try to re-sign him. They let him hit free agent and said, see ya. I don't care if you're a top 5 back in the NFL. We're not interested. Because stability in the organization, respect of the hierarchy and the chain of command is more important than one player, however good that one player is. The Saints had this. The Saints had this. When Sean Payton first came in 2006, Dante Stallworth, Wayne Gandy, a lot of the entitled veteran players got kicked out because they weren't bought in. And after the Saints had won the Super Bowl and then in 14, 15, 16 had the back-to-back 7-9 cultures seasons, and Sean Payton said, acknowledged the culture had eroded. What did they do? Junior Gillette, get out. Oh, Jimmy Graham, you want to be franchised as a receiver instead of a tight end, and we're going through this big, long thing? We're trading you to Seattle. Oh, Brandon Cooks, only closed mouths don't get fed. Oh, really? Trading you to New England. Get out. Kenny Stills, oh, you're a 5th-round pick and became a starter, and we got great value for you? Don't care, bad locker room guy. See ya. They valued culture more than anything. It ain't the same anymore. This is Michael Thomas going to Twitter to essentially hang Derek Carr out. And he ain't wrong, by the way. I just don't care about the premise of what he's saying. It's that he went to Twitter to say it. That illustrates a complete lack of fear of consequences because you have a substitute teacher at the front of the class. We've all seen this before, y'all. I had a teacher in high school that nobody respected. I'm not going to tell you this person's name, but nobody respected this teacher. And there was a kid in my class who would come in every day because the teacher would stand in the hall by the door to greet every student as they came in the class. And this kid would go into the room. And you know how you'd have like this when we had chalk, gather around kids. Before there were whiteboards, everyone had chalkboards, these big green things that you would actually write in chalk on the board. And he would grab a box. You know how when it was like a new box of chalk, it would be like long sticks of chalk. You know, then they invariably get worn down to little nubs. But it was like he would go grab a new box of the long sticks of chalk, and he would fire the entire box against the chalkboard, and it would explode into a million pieces. I could not even count the number of times this kid did this. I was in another class with the same kid, and the teacher was Mr. Billings, and Mr. Billings was a badass. He was like probably 70. He rode a motorcycle to school every day with these like Kevlar jacket and gloves. He was on the weekend, he was like a part-time police officer in Springfield as well. And Mr. Billings was a badass, and everybody knew you didn't cross Mr. Billings. Mr. Billings didn't yell and scream or anything. But he's the kind of dude that would look at you if you were misbehaving, and you knew he ain't the one. You know what I mean? We all had people like that. Same kid, never misbehaved in Billings class. Why? Because he had his respect. They don't respect Dennis Allen. I'll say it again. Dennis Allen's a great defensive coordinator. He's a really good defensive mind, all that stuff. And I'm not saying they don't respect him as a man. They don't respect his authority as a head coach. He's the substitute teacher in the front of the class that nobody respects and can't get everybody to behave and behave nicely. And so Derek Carr's yelling at Pete Carmichael, and Derek Carr's yelling at Chris Olave, and Michael Thomas is on Twitter calling out Derek Carr. Alvin Kamara's in his post-game press conference sort of subtweeting Derek Carr. They're all infighting because nobody respects the guy at the top that says, I ain't the one and this ain't the place. You got something to say, you say it internally. But when you go publicly, forward-facing, outward-facing, we're unified. But this team doesn't believe that. The culture is eroded. It's happened quickly because they don't respect the substitute teacher at the front of the class. They're firing boxes of chalk at the chalkboard. It's exploded a million pieces, and there's no retribution because they don't respect it. Saints need a Mr. Billings is what they need. Long week for New Orleans. Mini bye after Thursday Night Football. We'll see how they can fare heading up to Indy this Sunday. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.